Kelly Murphy back by popular demand. Oh God! All right, and cut. What's up? I feel so weird if I'm like, "What's up, girl?" Like, no, like, "What's up? How are you?"
You know, same old, just working out. I'm having a White Claw. Last time we talked, I was on a no drinking cleanse. I lasted a whole 85 days. So I'm back
Okay.
though. White Claw Kelly.
All right. So, a couple things here. I'll probably never work again with you after saying this, but like, I would always like just be at home on Insta, and you would like post updates. And sometimes I'd like see it. I like show my aunt, like, look at this girl, no drinking, 85 days. Like, what the fuck? Like, she doesn't even need to. And
Great.
my aunt goes, maybe you should try it for 5 minutes. And I'm like, all right. Working out? Like, I don't know. But all right, let's go on record here. Who did you text the first day when you got your first claw night in?
It was a claw day in, first of all. It
Claw
wasn't
day.
a claw night. So I texted you. I had to tell you that I was back. Like
I had never been more proud, like, in my life. Like, I had never been more proud. I was like, that was Saturday. That was oh my God. Can we talk about the depressing ass text I sent you?
What one?
Like, after the call. By the way, like 6 people got that text. They're like, bro, crazy fight.
After the card.
Yeah, after the card. And I was like, I don't even care about fighting anymore. Like, I'm just so over it. Like, I just get so invested. And my buddy was like, my buddy was like always asking me for like picks and stuff because he likes to put down on these fights. Right. So I'm like, I'm here. And then.
Would you screw your friend over?
I mean, I didn't screw him over because it's his money. He makes the decisions, right? But there was one, and I forget the fight. But I called him. I go, "You sure you want to do this?" And he's like, "Yeah, 100%. It's $100 bet." I go, "I don't have a good feeling about." Oh, it was the Brandon Royval fight against whoever he fought, and I was Tim Elliott, I think. And I was like, "Dude, I don't have a good feeling about this at all." And yeah, I was right. But I was just like, okay, so here let's put it out there, right? You and I both work with Anthony Smith. It absolutely sucked watching his last fight. It was terrible. And I have a close relationship with Dean Thomas. Like, I want my friends, and I consider Anthony a friend. I want my friends to do well in this sport. Like, I just want them to make their money and do what they set out to do. So obviously the first event of quarantine you weren't bothered by because Justin Gaethje won, but
I was elated, to say the least.
Right. So you have Anthony Smith loses, and then Walt Harris. That one killed me. Like, I'll go on public record and be like, I was so emotional all day of that fight, and then like I had to start drinking at like 5, and then they played the whole video thing of him and his daughter on ESPN right before. I was like, I can't take it.
Did it start at 5?
I started at 6, but like the Sports Center did like a whole pre-show for it, and I was like, I can't take it. Like, so I amped up the drinking that night, and then he lost.
You gotta take my book. No drink.
Never. I have no character without it.
Oh, stop.
But then, all right. So then I was like, all right. Last Saturday, I was like, all right, Woodley's back. We got this. We're gonna roll through. I'm a big fan of Brock Weaver. That didn't go my way. And then like
starting from the fight, like that wasn't even just in the octagon.
Real quick, and you're coming in choppy, and it kind of sucks. But how crazy was the end of the first round between Billy Quarantillo and Spike Carlisle? Have you ever seen that?
I literally didn't know what I was watching. I was like, there's absolutely no way that just happened, right? Like, I still don't know what to say, and it's been so long. I've watched the highlight, I guess, for lack of a better term, numerous times, and I still don't know what happened.
Well, and we'll get into UFC 250 and all that shit. But, and this kind of transitions over to UFC 250. One, I thought the judging and reffing was a lot better in Vegas than in Jacksonville. Yeah. And give me that 25-foot octagon every fucking event. I get it looks better on camera, and that's really the main reason why they have the 30-foot one. But like, I think almost all the fights were ended in finishes. And now you look at UFC 250, and there are bangers of fights. Like, okay, like no 30-foot octagon ever again.
No, that's a fact. I didn't know a ton of the names on the last card, but I still sat there and watched from the prelims all the way on up, and I was not bored. It was super exciting fights, like all the way through, which I was surprised because I don't know. Normally I don't get super amped up for a card if I don't know a lot of the fighters on it, but that one was good. So, and I hate to like bring up coronavirus and everything because we're like in such a light, good mood, but I think all the protocols a lot better in Vegas as well.
I'm not going to say who, but I talked to someone boots on the ground, and it wasn't Dean Thomas. It was someone just around the area. He goes, dude, people I've talked to that are going to be at the event said it's like boot camp. Like you can't leave.
Okay.
Well, and Eddie Wineland said on the last podcast that dropped today, I guess, because we're filming this on Thursday and this is coming out on Friday. Eddie Wineland said, yeah, after the weigh-ins, I'm not allowed to leave. Like, listen, all the credit in the world, and they're bringing back top-ranked boxing, and I get Vegas is the fight capital. You want to do it the right way. I get it, but, like, I'm sorry. I'm just going to say it. At some point, we got to start ripping the Band-Aids off. Slowly but surely, like, we have to start ripping these Band-Aids off. I don't know about you, and I didn't necessarily agree with everything Eddie Wineland said about because he's a full-time firefighter, and he's like, I'm not wearing a mask unless I'm absolutely forced to wear one. Like, I'm not worried about it. And I'm kind of on that same boat. I also, like, I live across the street from a park. I don't ever or have ever gone to a park and been on top of somebody. Like, I might have been close to someone, but that's someone I know. Like, that's a friend or it's a family member, and I'm a few feet away from them. Maybe not 6, but maybe 4, 4.5. And, like, when you really stop and think about it, outside of your Saturday nights or your Friday nights, like at a club or at a bar, you're normally not right on top of people. So, like, that's just my only thing is that I don't want to be going to these bars and, like, I don't know who's serving me. Like, it's just, listen, I'll do it. I'll respect it. I care about the people. I don't want anybody to get sick. But, I mean, you and I are both young. I'm a lot older than you, but that means you're young and I'm somewhat young. But, like, I would never envision this in our lifetimes. Like, we're going to be going out or we're going to be at beaches and people are going to be wearing face masks. It's crazy.
No, it's actually insane. Not that the mask isn't a huge inconvenience. It isn't. It's just odd, because we're not used to it. So even when I haven't left the house all that often because my parents are older. I don't want to, like, see a bunch of people and risk getting them sick. But even just, like, going to get Dunkin', I have to put the mask on. And in the one by my house, they have tape on the floor in squares. You're allowed to stand, and arrows, which the exact way you have to walk. It's just crazy because literally 3.5 months ago we were just going to like the bars. Like, I can't even imagine going to a bar right now. I don't know what they're gonna do.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine it because I can't wait for it. But listen, I'm new. Okay, I'm still gonna run with this. But all right, let me ask you a quick question though. If you were living on your own, how would you proceed about going around people that you know? Because now you don't have to worry about your parents. You said they're older. Like, if you were just coming home to yourself and you had your own place, like, would you go out a little bit more around friends right now, or what would you do?
Yeah, I think I would. I've seen a few of my closest friends because I know we're all doing the same thing. We're not going out and seeing a million people. We're really just staying in with our families and people very, very close to us. So I've seen a few of my friends, but we've all been in each other's backyards too. We haven't necessarily been keeping, like, okay, we're 6 feet apart, but we've been in each other's yards. We haven't been, right on top of each other. We haven't got in each other's houses. So, but I guess if I was living alone, maybe I'd, like, let up on it a little bit, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think so, because I got invited to a Memorial Day barbecue, and I was like, guys, 1,000%. I was like, if I lived at my own place right now, I'd be there 100%.
Right.
I go, but I live with family. My aunt and uncle are a little bit older. They're not old. They're a little bit older. And we've got a little one here. She's 9. So I'm not risking it on either side. And they're like, oh, I go, but 1,000%, I'd be the first one there if I lived on my own.
I feel like if people know you, they would know that without you explaining.
Yeah, no, they're like, we get it. No, trust us. We know. But here's the thing. Then I look back and I'm like, I don't want to be like a prisoner to COVID, because you've known me since November, and basically your facial reactions and your comments in the last 5 minutes tell all. Like, I'm not shy about going out, having a couple whatevers, and socialing and like networking. I don't know why I said socially.
Yeah,
socializing.
I was gonna let you run.
No, call me out on my bullshit. It's fine. But socializing with people, like, I don't care. Like, I'll talk to the wall if it'll talk back. Like, that's just me.
You function with me the first day we met. Did you not?
I guilt tripped you into it.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, no. You were 100% not going until I said you don't want to take like the new guy to a work function. Like, that would be kind of.
That's a good point. You're right.
Yeah. I mean, you did it solely out of pity, but I was like, all right, that's pretty cool. Like,
but you can get it.
But this is what pisses me off. First time I lived in Jersey, I was 20. Then the next time I lived in Jersey, I think I was like 22, but I lived in like, I don't know if you'd call it South. I call it South because it's near Philly, like Bordentown, Trenton. Yep. Yeah, so I'm down there. So I'm not near where I want to be. Now I'm finally here. And the first time I was here in the fall, winter. So I didn't get spring or summer. And now I do. And it's like face mask. Everything's closed, 6 feet apart. You can't do anything. Oh, by the way, there's riots and looters everywhere. And it's just like, oh, my God. I mean, you weren't there, and I'm not dogging him for this at all. But as much as I can bitch and moan about what's going on, I'll credit a guy that we both worked for, Luke Thomas, who the week before he made a joke about social distancing, and it's something that everyone does to me to keep,
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and then literally, and this is how I knew it got real, because it was the weekend of the 14th. It was the Kevin Lee weekend when he fought Charles Oliveira, and I went out that night for my birthday and was around a bunch of people, and that's when COVID started creeping up, and I actually went to a bar and they made us fill out like our name, address, phone number, just in case, like crazy shit. And so I did that. But then on Monday, Luke was like, so what'd you do this weekend? I was like, yeah, I went out because it's my birthday weekend, and I'm not going to get captured inside. And he was like, well, you could be part of the problem. I was like, shit. And then that day was the last day in the studio. And ever since, like, I've always, like, I just remember, like, just how quickly he flipped that switch. I was like, all right. But now at some point, you turn a light on, you got to turn it off at some point. So, for me, it's like.
So freaking fast, for real. We were talking, I mean, in our meetings at work, like, let's plan ahead in the event we're out of the office for 3 days.
Yeah.
And
3 days.
Now, like,
2 weeks.
Functioning, doing shows from home. So,
sure.
Yeah.
What has it been like for you? Because you're what, 22?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ, I feel so old. But like, okay, so from a work, listen, and I'm not gonna be here to like gloat and like make you shine, like, and put you on a pedestal this whole podcast, but like 22, we talked about it last time. You're kicking ass. You ran through Syracuse. You ran through your internship. You got this job. You're the best trainer in any job I've ever had. But for what it's worth, the only other job I really had training in was selling vitamins at GNC and selling hats at Lids. So
who knows if I could have done that?
Considering the experience, I mean, it's the best training I've ever had. But like, I can't imagine being 22 and working where you work, events being shut down. Oh, and then, by the way, your personal life is shut down. What's it been like for you?
I mean, it's crazy. It really is. Like, I fell into the working from home groove pretty quickly. It hasn't been, obviously, it's been a huge adjustment, but it didn't take me weeks to adjust. You know what I mean? I kind of
Yeah.
laid out the groundwork with all my hosts. So I was like, this is what's going to happen. We just kind of need to get ahead as much as we can. Like, let's plan when we're recording, like days prior, and then we'll be all good. So the working part hasn't been bad. And luckily, we are still working because that's the only reason I'm sane, I think, because I get to talk to I literally talk to my host more than I talk to people. But
That's good to know.
yeah, I know, right? My social life is.
No, it's fine. Listen, there's two things you said. I'm going to let you finish. There's two things you've already said I'm going to call you out on. But continue on. Go ahead.
So that's that. Working from home is fine. But I was joking the other day. I was like, I'm missing out on prime going out months of my life. Like, I'm 22 and I used to be going out. I mean, it's not the best thing, but all the time. But I guess I try to look at it in that it seems long because the days are long, but in reality, we've already been doing this for like 3 months, and hopefully it's a short time period compared to like my life.
Right. Because in reality, if it's 3 more months, you're gonna be like, oh, it's 6 months.
Exactly. When you look back on it, like, okay, we were like quarantined or had to social distance for 6 months, but we took care of a much huger issue.
Right. Well, and now I gotta just hope that if it's not over by the summer, excuse me, I don't fuck up my job security and you don't do anything to change your job, because we both know I annoyed the shit out of you about us hanging out during the spring or the summer. And that's actually where I'm going to take a shot at you. You've already talked about, oh, I've hung out with my closest friends and I talk to my host more than anyone else. What the fuck?
Well,
I mean, look, I'll give you credit. I'll give you a little credit. You do text me back, like, all the time.
Nice.
Like, you do. And you give me, like, an update. You're like, hey, sorry, 2 hours late because I was sleeping. I'm like, you could have just answered the text. I'll take it. But, like, I don't want to miss out on my first year where I could experience White Claw Kelly in her natural habitat. And I feel like I'm missing that right now. Like,
don't want to that. I'm telling
no, I did. No, I do. No, I do. Look, I went to the Hamptons and they were like, oh, we're like, there was a lot of family together. Mm-hmm. But like, they were like, oh, I'm sorry if you're bored of this or that. And I'm like, I would have loved it if I could have just went out one night. It would have made everything different. That's it. One night, everyone there would have known I didn't belong. I don't have the net value of any of them, but like, I'm here, like, hello.
I'm telling you, the first day, maybe 2 weeks ago, when it hit like 70 degrees plus, my whole group chat was blowing up. Like, we would be going out tonight. This is what I would wear, like stupid stuff like that. I was like, you know what? Like, I know exactly what I'd be wearing. I'm so upset. I don't know.
I gotta call you on one other thing. When you marked your 1 year anniversary on Twitter, you absolutely took a screenshot of the video that I have of you.
You don't even have to finish what you're saying. I did that.
I was like, oh, okay. I said, cool. She tagged me in the tweet. I was like, she tagged me in the tweet. That's nice, but like, no photo credit. Because here's the thing, and I'll say this honestly. I feel like, and this is no disrespect to anyone else on our channel, I feel like I'm the one person when we were all working in studio who was like needed to take photo. Like, I'm such a high maintenance asshole that I was like, I want to take selfies right now.
But like, you're the newest. Like, I would go into studio and, you pray for no tech issues, that both your hosts are there. Life's good. It's just another day in the life. Like, you were like new and the studio was like fun. I mean, great.
Yeah, well, like, don't get me wrong. I didn't like, now you're making it seem like I just walked in and only wanted selfies. Like, I'm not, no, like, I did my job. But like, during breaks when we have nothing going on, I would, for the listeners and viewers, I'd be like, Kelly, I'd be right back. I'm going to go to the kitchen. Need anything? I'm like, nope, just get the hell out of here. I'm like, selfie here, Instagram here. And I'm like, oh, hey, what's up? Not even doing anything. But like, I was like, I don't know. Like, I just felt, once I saw that picture, I was like, oh my God, do I take too many pictures? Like,
I didn't have literally
that's
any.
what I'm saying. No one takes pictures.
I was going to post the video, but I don't know. Like, I just couldn't figure it out, but I wasn't able to tag you guys in the video, and then I didn't have enough characters to tag you all on the tweet. Oh, stop.
We could have put, honestly, and I mean this sincerely, because we have worked together a lot. We literally could have, made like the best of Mike and Kelly in studio working together show clips, or just recorded our conversations in the studio. But like, that's like the lost tapes. That's like 100 years from now, they'll dig them up and be like, oh my God, they talked about this.
It's you never know what's going on. Like, the conversations just range.
Yeah, I can't.
I'm gonna make a podcast and call it, what did I say I was gonna call it? In the studio with Kelly Murphy, because you're on the mic with Mike Pendleton.
Yeah, that's just
of yours.
Wait, is that why you said that? Because
Yeah,
I saw
you
it.
on it, and I was annoyed.
I didn't get it. I didn't get it.
You didn't.
Oh, well, listen. We've got another card this weekend. UFC 250. By the way, I am loving these weekend of like nonstop card after card after card. Like,
what else are you gonna do on Saturday night?
Nothing. Not a single damn thing. Very quickly, before we get into the card, because it's somewhat of a jumping around here, but I gotta ask, because and I say this because of what I just said, where some of the things we talked about, and I mean this sincerely, when we would be in studio talking about some stuff, I'd be like, why the fuck doesn't she do more like radio interviews, podcast interviews? Like, like, you're gonna be like, I've only been around the sport for less than a year, but like, I didn't know half of the shit you know at your time frame. So
I'm telling you, I credit Luke Thomas. I really started doing like all the extra homework so that I could at least have a conversation with the guy.
Yeah, I hear you. But like, that's such a like admirable quality about like knowing you, is that like, no matter what it is, like, you can actually hold a conversation. So for me, like, everything going on, right? And I gotta watch what I say here. Colby Covington came out, said some things this week about John Jones, and here's my take. Look, John's got a past, but I have a past. You have a past. Like, we all have pasts, right? And you see that video of John. Like, people talk about like, oh, he's walking up to those vandals and taking away those spray cans. By the way, 2 questions. 1, how old were those kids? They looked 14, 15 years old. And 2, do you think they knew it was John Jones?
Probably not. I honestly don't think so. What do you think? I mean, I don't think so.
I'd have been like, you got to hit me with a spinning back kick to the body before I give you this. Like,
100%.
Like, I got to know it's you, bro. I say that, but without a doubt, I would have been like, yes, sir. Here you go, sir. I'll never do this again. But just when I think about John Jones, the fighter, I see him approach 2 teenagers on an Albuquerque street, and I'm just like, how do other men fight this man? Because he's like, give me the spray cans. And they're like, Jesus Christ. Yes, sir. yes, sir. Like, listen, this is not to go into color or race, but when a super freakish athlete like John, no matter the color, and he has this intimidating look to him, walks up to him and goes, give me the cans. If we could just have 100 John Jones in all of these stupid looting riots.
Well, and the good thing that you just said looting, because it's so important to note that like the looting is so separate from the protests.
I'm not that dumb.
No, I know, but I'm saying, like, I feel like it's good to, like, let's give some extra clarification here. Like, that's what we do.
1,000%. Listen, to be fair, I'm completely all in on protesting. Not to go into it, but I like made a statement on Twitter. I have one firsthand been a part of police overstepping their boundaries, and I have witnessed it. I'm from Chicago, and everyone's like, "Oh, this, oh that, oh you didn't grow up in Inglewood." Oh, I didn't. You're right. However, one of my closest friends who made it out of Inglewood at the same time, him and Derrick Rose went to high school together. He was the number one Midwest football player. Derrick Rose was the number one basketball player in the country, and they came up together. And look, Derrick Rose is still in the league. My friend is not, but you see the path of, and when I started working in media, he was one of the first guys to give me an opening. I got to go to the south side of Chicago. You think I fit in the south side of Chicago? I see it firsthand. So, and it's not always about me. It's about who I surround myself with. And I know his victim has been a family of violence, not police, but violence. And it's just, you can never go one place in Chicago without running into it. And for me, I was around for the Laquan McDonald thing. And look, say what you want. No reason 16 shots in one person. None. So, yes, I am with a peaceful protest on anything, to be honest, on anything. If you want to peacefully protest the UFC fighters need to get paid more, I'm in. But if you start breaking into the UFC Performance Institute, I'm like, what are you doing? But I do like, and I was going to write an article about it, but it was a little sensitive, so I get your thoughts on it. John Jones, Israel Adesanya, Conor McGregor, Daniel Cormier, Michael Bisping. Like, I just named 5 of the biggest superstars in the UFC, present and past. Some of color, some of not, some international. And they're, like, making a stand. You could look at the NFL. You could look at the NBA. It's really your bigger names, your LeBrons, your, you can go up and down. Steph Curry. You can go up and down the list, but it's the guys that are known worldwide. Not everyone knows Israel Adesanya. So for me, and I think he said, if I could choose, I'd still be black. And I was like, yo, holy shit. So for me, I think this is beautiful for the UFC. You got it. You got back before any other sporting event. You're putting on amazing events, event after event after event. And your biggest names in the sport are taking the lead and standing up with these protests and this rioting and this looting. Like, give me 100 John Jones for the Vandals. Give me 100 of each of those guys.
Absolutely. I mean, they're using their platform for the greater good. And I mean, whether, I guess, some of these guys like John Jones have a past or not, they're using their platform to try to put a good message out there and to try to help this movement. And I think that that's a good thing because the message is what's important. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And like, so, I mean, we, not you and I, but in the MMA world, I know I personally have gotten upset. We're like, people got to get Brandon Royval. Bro, you should not have to talk about or be in tears because you don't want to go to work tomorrow after a fight. Like, from a pay scale, I get it. But it's sometimes fighters grab the mic to cut a promo. I won't say names. Sometimes fighters grab a mic to ask for more money. But sometimes these fighters don't even take a mic and they take action like we've seen this week. And it's just like, this is what we need. Like, this is exactly what we need. I think it's great for the UFC. But something struck me about what Kobe Covington said. And I want to get your thoughts on it. He said, John is doing this to help him get more money in his negotiations with Dana White.
I mean, we've talked about this at length on all of the shows, really. It's not very likely that the UFC is going to give in to one fighter, because then it's just going to be a never-ending cycle of, okay, he got more, so I want more, and then the median average of the dollar amount that these fighters are making is just going to go up. And especially given the climate right now where we don't really know how much money the UFC is making, you know what I mean? They're not getting any live gate. It's not the best time to try to test out, like, going against the UFC, trying to get more money. I mean, I don't think that's why John Jones is doing it. And to be quite honest, I don't really care why John Jones is doing it because it's a good thing. Right. So I personally don't agree with Colby. I mean, it's rare that I do, but I don't think that's why Jones is doing it. And like I said, I don't care because it's a good thing he's doing. So keep on.
Did you?
I just go John
Jones. Yeah, I was like, all right, I want to make sure you didn't. Okay. Well, let's get in this card, K Murph, because I mean we've got a lot here, and literally we could almost talk about the whole card. I want to kind of start though, and just for notes, I want to just say, Herbert Burns is fighting Evan Dunham, and that's a catchweight at 150. It kicks off the night. If you haven't seen Herbert, not you, but if you people haven't seen Herbert Burns fight. If you haven't seen Herbert Burns fight, he landed an incredible knee in his last fight, like up against the cage, and he just wiped his opponent out. Yeah, so I would say go look at that fight before. That is against Nate Landwehr. So definitely go look at that one. Alonzo Menifield, Devin Clark is going to be a fight. That's going to be a hell of a fight. But I want to get your thoughts, and I'll let you take it here because I'm actually going to fix something. Brian Kelleher, Cody Stamann. Give me your thoughts. Like, Cody's fighting. He just lost his 18-year-old brother last week. Would you be fighting? And, like, do you automatically have to root for Cody here?
I mean, I personally am because, I mean, that just, like, tugs at your heartstrings, obviously. And I think it really, in situations like this, in horrible situations, it goes either way. Some people are able to move on in the moment and use it as inspiration. And I know that's what he said. He said that he thinks that his brother would want him to compete. He loved watching him, so he knows that's what he wants. And his mind is sharp right now. I know he said that. And he's focused. So I really do think he's going to use this as an inspiration. And I'm sure he hasn't even had the proper time to grieve because it's been so go, go, go. I'm sure with all of these fighters waiting for their name to be called and when they're going to fight and taking short notice fights or having long camps because their fights got canceled and rebooked. So I would think he's going to use it as inspiration and then hopefully, take a step back afterwards, like, when the fight's over and just let himself properly grieve the loss. It's horrible.
It is, and for me, it sucks because he's facing Brian Kelleher, and Kelleher.
I like him both.
Kelleher's been on a roll too, like
Kelleher that's a very nice tweet to him. If you saw it.
Yeah, I saw it. One note: Ian Heinich, he is out of his fight against Gerald Mearshart. I'm probably screwing that one up there, but
something though. That they're waiting to see if it was a false positive, and in the event that the second test comes back negative, he could be cleared. I believe Aaron Bronson put that out.
But wasn't it one of his corner?
Yes, but I think he's like continuing to weight cut and everything. Let me see if I can find what Bronstetter tweeted.
Look at you go.
Yeah, I saw that.
Shout out to Aaron Bronstetter.
Yeah, he's great.
I was being a little too loud, so. So be better. There. Yep, I see it.
Yep. I literally am looking at it now as well. So he's continuing to cut weight and train. His corner is going to be tested again to see if it was a false positive, which we heard happened.
Which you broke. You broke that news. Yes, take a bow. You broke that news.
My host did. I just, played a role. But yeah, so if those tests come back negative, it'll be cleared.
Very interesting. I'm interested to see how that goes. I also wonder how that will go for Anthony Ivy, who agreed to take the fight on 24 hours notice. They better pay him. Okay, so Ben Askren's son is also fighting.
Yes. That's how I love him.
Like, okay, if you go on Tapology and you look at the UFC 250 card and you look at Chase Hooper, he does not look like the kid we see these days.
I'm gonna go look.
Like, he looks like a regular, like, just put in Tapology UFC 250 and you'll see like, there's no curls. Like, he looked like somebody you would date.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. But would you date curly-headed Chase Hooper?
Yeah, I think he's fun. He's so he's unique. I feel like he's a star in the making. Like I like when I see him in the media, I get so happy because he's just so quirky.
If we could, and I'm gonna make my video editor just do this. I gotta figure out. So about 45-ish minutes in, if I can just get that he's fun. When I see him in the media, I just get so happy. Like if I just have that clip, not necessarily that you're saying it, but if I can just have anyone say it, I'm good. And you just completely froze. All right, so 20-minute intermission. Here's what just happened. An early prelim fight just ended in the first round. So ESPN had to fill our show with 15 minutes of commercials and filler content. We had to do 15 minutes of filler content because, of course, I don't know if it's because you ran out of White Claw. Like, Kelly, what the hell just happened?
I ran out of White Claw, so therefore I had to completely disconnect my Wi-Fi, so I had an excuse as to why I couldn't continue the show for a solid 20 minutes, but it's all right. We've switched devices, we've switched White Claw flavors, and we're back.
What are we on?
We switched to mango.
That's literally what I got.
Wow, look at us. Look at us.
Look, all right, so here's what I'm going to do. This is what I was saying before you disconnected. You said...
You act like I did it on purpose.
No, you said something along the lines of when I see him in the media, it makes me happy. He's very cool. Some other stuff. And I'm going to have the video editor clip. And then you just said, look at us. So it's like, I just need people to, mainly women, I need them to say what you just said about Chase Hooper about me. Because if I can get that reaction, like, look at him in the media. He's so cool. He's so fun. Like,
the Chase Hooper effect.
I gotta work on it.
It's the Chase Hooper effect, I'm telling you.
It's the what?
The Chase Hooper effect.
Yeah, I need it. So on that fight, he's taking on Alex Caceres. I think he runs through Alex Caceres. But I think he finishes on the ground.
Yeah, in the second round. I don't have my notes in front of me, but I believe that was the prediction I made.
Okay. Did you feel like not bringing your notes to the second part of this?
My Wi-Fi still isn't working. I didn't think we wanted to alert everybody to it, so I'm on my phone using the wireless, and my notes were on a Google Doc. This is the one time I didn't handwrite my notes.
That's fine. I mean, you're only going on Mike Pendleton's podcast. Who fucking cares?
Stop. I don't like when you say things like that.
Well, so nice. All right, let's get into this main card. Holy bantamweights of this card.
Wait, I swear on my life, that was the first line of my notes. Holy bantamweights.
No, it's not.
I swear to God, once I figure out this Wi-Fi situation, I'll show you.
By the way, look at us. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Sean O'Malley. Oh my God, I've had one club. Sean O'Malley, Eddie Wineland. I just spoke to Wineland on the podcast, and he's acknowledged as much as, look, I understand. I'm the older guy. They want to send the young guns after me. And Sean O'Malley's a beast, but I'm not trying to be disrespectful. And I said this in his last fight, and then he ran through his opponent. But it's the quality isn't there yet. It's now here in Eddie Wineland. Like, you fight Eddie Wineland, you're fighting someone who's been through some of the best opponents out there in the division. And this is a big step up for Sean O'Malley. I know people are going to expect him to run through Eddie Wineland, but he said, along with some other weird shit, that he wants to put an end to the Sugar Show, and it's Mustache Mania. Like, he's in.
That's a quote. That's a good quote. I mean, I think O'Malley's surging, and I think everyone's expecting this to kind of be a showcase. From what I gathered, O'Malley has knockouts in 7 of 11 fights, but Wineland hasn't been knocked out since 2014. So I found that pretty interesting. I do think O'Malley will win, but because of what I just said, I would think it'll be by decision. But nonetheless, I do think it's going to be a clinic for him. I do. Did you see his hair?
Yes, I did. Right. I'll leave it at that. Yes, I saw his hair. So I'll say this. Ariel Helwani of ESPN likes to coin the term "people's main event," and he claimed Aljamain Sterling, Corey Sandhagen as the people's main event. If there was a people's dark horse fight of the night, it's Eddie Wineland, Sean O'Malley. I was in the building when when Eddie Wineland fought at UFC 238. He got a second-round finish, a second-round knockout, and Chicago, Indiana, right next to each other. The place went bonkers for Eddie Wineland. If Eddie Wineland fights like that, I don't know who's going to win this fight.
I would put money on O'Malley, however. I mean, do you think Wineland's going to win, or do you think O'Malley will win?
I think O'Malley will win, but
you think it'll be a little closer than people are saying?
I'll say I think O'Malley will win. I think it's hard to count out Eddie Wineland, if that makes sense. Like, if I'm a gambler, I stay away from this fight. But I also
Makes sense.
we brought it up, but we didn't address it. I sent you a text after last weekend's event about how much I hate fight nights, and I'm so sick of watching fights, and I'm so invested, and I'm done with everything, and my life is a tragedy, and I'm over it all. And I don't know if I ever want to watch fights again. It's because I get so invested. Here's the thing, and I'd say this the same way about fighters as I would say to you.
Mm-hmm.
If anything ever happened like that negatively affected your life, I would go ballistic. I'd be like, what? No, because if you give me your time, you respect me, so I'm all in. All in. It's hard when two fighters I've interviewed are facing each other, but anybody who gives me their time, I'm all in on. So it's just it's been very hard. So that's one of the first ones where I'm like, if I'm a gambler, I talked to Eddie Wineland. I gotta.
No, that makes perfect sense. I get that. That reminds me of literally the Nunes Spencer fight. We've had Spencer on, and I've chatted with her a few times, like through booking, and she's so nice. But man. Speaking
of which, I can't wait to get to the co-main event, but we're getting there. Okay, so next on the main card, Neil Magny, Anthony Martin. I think this is a big fight for Neil Magny to show, like, I'm still here. And I am taking him to win this fight, but he's got to get it done. Mm-hmm. Like, Anthony Martin is no step over. But Neil's got to get it done against Anthony Martin.
Well, okay, so this is definitely the fight on the main card that I'm lacking knowledge in for sure. So it's good that we're chatting about it. I did read that it's the last fight on Anthony's contract. So I would imagine that he will bring an added intensity to the fight because he wins. That'll help him in negotiations likely. Yeah. But Magny has a wild reach advantage. What, like 6 or 7 inches?
Yep.
So I think that's why I took him to win. But like I said, this is the fight that I know the least about. So I would love to hear what you have to say about it.
I mean, look, Neil Magny's a guy who's up and then he's down, and then he's up and then he's down. And you're right. When a guy has last fight on his contract. He's going to fight like it's his last fight ever.
Of course. And he said normally the UFC reaches out right before that last fight, and they didn't. I mean, he said he didn't know if it was because of everything going on with the coronavirus and, you know, a ton of scheduling issues. But still, I'm sure that'll play into it too, because it's like, let me show you why you should have reached out already.
1,000%. I'm going to take Neil Magny to win this fight, although Anthony Martin probably needs to win this fight. I just think Neil Magny is a veteran. He needs to get back active, and he's got to show, like, there's a lot of killers at welterweight. He's got to do it now. Like, now's the time for him to do it.
Welterweight. It's a good division right now. It's pretty, like...
It's not as good as bantamweight on Saturday night. So here we go.
No, bantamweight on Saturday night. Ugh, doesn't get better.
Before we go to the co-main, which I'm trying to prepare for, I can already see it in your smile and your dimples and like your Kelly Murphy look, like Corey Sandhagen, Aljamain Sterling. Like,
I'm so excited for this one because first I was shocked that it wasn't one of these guys versus Jan for the title. Obviously, I wasn't expecting it to be Jose Aldo, so whatever. But aside from that, I also wish this one was 5 rounds because I feel like by the end of it, I'm gonna wish there was more. This has huge implications. I mean, I think the co-main has bigger implications, and we'll get into that. But the winner of this one will likely be the next contender for the title shot. But I don't think that a loss takes either of them out of being like a top contender. Yeah. They're both riding win streaks. Aljo is at 4 fights and Sandhagen's at 7, I think. But this is another one where I've worked on 2 specials with Aljo, and I just think he's really cool. He's a Long Island guy, so, you know, location bias. But this is going to be really, really good. I don't know who the hell I'm supposed to go with on this one. I really don't.
Yeah, no, Aljo is actually the first UFC fighter I ever interviewed.
How cool is he?
He's so cool. And I was such a moron back then that I thought I was a shock jock. And I told him he couldn't take me down and submit me in 30 seconds. Thank God I live in Chicago for that. So actually, I'm going to send you, there's a classic, like, you see this photo, you think of Mike Pendleton. Like, when I get my own place, it's going to probably be framed. Once I know Aljo and I are cool, because that would be weird. But I'll send you a picture of me and Aljo. We're not posing, but someone kind of like caught it. Like, there's a great backstory to it. It's like the last weekend of it was the last weekend of my last real relationship. I'll put it to you that way.
Oh God. Let's start it and not there.
Yeah. Well, when Aljo asked if the girl sleeping at the table is your girl,
Nice.
yeah.
Perfect.
This Corey Sandhagen, he's gotten the raw end of the stick, like, every single time. He was supposed to fight Frankie. He could have fought for the title. Now he's fighting Aljo. Aljo, same thing. But, okay, 2 things to counter, to play devil's advocate. 1, I don't see this fight going 3 rounds. I don't. And 2, I think this fight needed to happen in a 25-foot cage, not the 30.
Oh, my God. I know.
Because in a 30, and now this is going to sound weird, and it's not the claw talking, but I think in a 30-foot cage, you allow so much of a landscape for both of these guys to master their strengths. Where a 25-foot octagon, it's like you got to go. And
there's nowhere to hide.
And all the implications, they just mean that much more. So it's really hard for me to pick against Corey Sandhagen. Love the kid. I think he's got dynamite hands. Aljo can take the fight anywhere. He really can. And I'll say this, I don't know how you feel, but when you get knocked out bad, which he did, you just learn something about yourself. Like, you come back from that. If some people never fight again, not many people take a brutal knockout the way he did and put themselves right back in title contention. And he did. So it's
I think we're
without
going
a
to see the best versions of both of them
there's
because they
one
know that
negative.
pretty much the winner is going to get the next title shot.
Absolutely, but not if it goes decision, because I think the co-main has some implications as well. I think Sean O'Malley against Eddie Wineland has implications. Here's what I love about UFC 250. It's almost like a Dana White Contender Series night in the bantamweight division. Oh, you can all get a title shot. Who impresses me the most?
Right.
Who has the best fight? Who has the best performance? Who has the best finish? We'll go from there.
I love the bantamweight division. You should see in all of my pre-show emails I send my hosts like for the past few weeks, it's always somewhere slipped in there. I'm like, how about that bantamweight division? Like, let's talk about it in some way. It's wide open. And just the fact that the title's vacant makes it all that more fun.
That's so much fun. So I'm gonna take Aljo on that.
Me too.
I'm not ready for this. I'm not.
Before Mike starts talking, for those of you who don't know, Mike is obsessed with Cody Garbrandt, like unreal levels. So I just wanted to preface that.
Am I allowed to defend myself on the stand? Can I take the stand and testify here?
Please.
Okay. First off, interview bias. I've talked to his uncle many a times.
Mm-hmm.
I've talked to his uncle on personal levels. I've talked to his uncle on my radio show. And one of the greatest quotes that ever be said to me is if you go back to UFC 207 when Cody beat Dom. Because I remember I'm in the bar and I'm screaming, "Stop effing dancing. Finish the fucking fight. What are you fucking doing?" And I was like, he's doing his thing. He's doing his thing. He's got the fight. He's got the fight. And I asked his uncle, I said, at any point, did you tell him to knock it off, the dancing, the showboating? He said at the end of the third round, they mentioned it, and he said, "Unc, I'm just having fun." So we just all took a step back and said, go do your thing. And then I'll give the people of Ohio this. I had that interview with his uncle dropped right after Cody won the belt. I had so many people from Ohio contact me, being like, "Are you coming to Cody's celebration parade?" Blah, blah, blah. I was like, what? I also think it's amazing. Coincidentally, I did this, but tonight I was tweeting about how when I was younger, I always said I was going to live in New Jersey and work in New York City, and this is my home. Cody did that. Cody tweeted Uriah Faber and was like, "I'm going to train with you." And then he did that, and he took him to the top. And then he brought this kid, Maddox Maples, who's sick, and he's walking the kid out to the fights. Now, look, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. I personally have felt that Cody fights way too emotional. I have been on record saying Cody fights like that high schooler. That high schooler's like, "You punch me in the face? Fuck you, bro. I'm going to punch you until you get knocked out."
Right.
But then they get knocked out. I'm very coming off more injuries. I'm very interested to see Cody with Mark Henry. Very interested to see. And
That's true.
Go ahead.
This one too, it's a lot of people were saying it's your classic striker versus grappler matchup. And we talked to Rafael Sunsao today and asked him about it. And he was like, "I don't think that's necessarily the case. I have, a ton of striking hours under my belt too. It's just not my, specialty." Then the reason I said before that I think this one has bigger implications than Aljo Sanhagen is that I think the winner of Aljo Sanhagen gets the next title shot. And then I think the winner of this one needs to win again and then would be in the talk for the next title shot kind of thing. Because I think whoever loses this essentially loses their opportunity for a title shot forever. I mean, this would be 4 losses in a row for Cody. It would be 3 in a row for Rafael, and he's also not, crazy young. So That's why I think this one is really important. This is the fight I'm most excited for.
Alright.
I mean, I'm also just excited to see Cody come back too. So
Same. But I'd caution this. Emotions carry 2 of his 3 losses against TJ. And I think if he fought a smarter fight against TJ in the first fight, I think it's a different. I think when he dropped him in the first round, if he would have went back to the Dominic Cruz thing, he would have different fight. But if Jose Aldo wouldn't have charged him on Conor McGregor, who knows if we ever get McGregor Mayweather. That's the way this fight game works. I would also caution that Pedro Munoz fight, like, you got to think in Cody's position. You're coming off 2 losses. You're a bitter rival. You're pissed off. You're angry. You're just like, fuck the world. And you just go into another firefight. And he did. And I think there was a clashing of the heads in that fight. I'm not making excuses, but I'll also say this. 2 of those losses are in the first round. One to TJ Munoz was also in the first round. The other TJ one came in the mid-second round. So we're not talking about a guy who's gotten beat up for 15 or 25 minutes. You know, we're not talking about it. That we're not talking about, no disrespect to him. We're not talking about Tyron Woodley.
right, who had won a round in what, 2 rounds?
2 fights. He hasn't won a round since Darren Till. You know, so that to me means something. You know, it's Tyron hasn't won his last 10 rounds. Cody hasn't won his last 4. So
true. I mean, well, let's see a smarter fight here.
He's gonna have to fight smarter, and I could be his biggest fan. And I have his book. I should have read his book this week. I might hold it like Trump was holding the Bible this week. Like,
right, like just to send out like positive
I'm
vibes.
gonna be like this. I'm gonna do it.
You should sleep next to the book tonight.
Maybe Friday night. That sounds so weird. But yeah, sure. But Saturday I might just read it. Like, I'll stand out the porch and I'll just hold it with like a candle. And people are like, what is wrong with this guy?
Yep.
But here's the thing. If Sandhagen, Aljamain go the distance, or it's not a draw, but controversial fight, what's to say Cody doesn't run through a sunset?
It's a good point. That's a good point. I guess it's true. There's definitely unanswered questions if Aljo Sandhagen is razor thin.
I think it's contender series. I think it's contender series at the highest level. I think it's from Sean O'Malley and Eddie Wineland all the way up to Cody and Asuncao, and obviously Sterling and Sandhagen. Okay, I saw what you did. I'm going to go get the next shot. I'm going to go get the next title fight. Look, I'm at like a lot. Like, now that you and I are talking, I can't believe it's 36 hours until Cody Garbrandt fights. Like,
I know. Like, are you okay? I don't even know what to say.
I'm going to ask you this because it's going to be on public record on YouTube and audio, video recording.
Oh, God.
Will you be available via text message Saturday night?
No.
No, but like, I was there for you during the Justin fight. Like,
during the Justin fight, I didn't allow anyone to be there for me. Like, my best friend, UFC fan, was texting me, and he knows better than to text me during the rounds of really any fight, but especially just a Gaethje fight. So, like, in every single time they went to their corners, he texted me, like, oh, wow, Gaethje looks really good. And the only thing I could write back was, like, I feel so sick. I'm going to be sick. And, like, that's what I would say. I was like, I'm sick. All right, Gaethje round. And then we move on. But, like, I can't say no. You know how I am. I'll always be available.
I know.
I'm just scared. What if he loses? Then I don't know if I want to be available.
Listen, I'm not going to call them by names, but I will tell you this, and you can get in line. I have friends who have been like, we may just check in on that fight. If Cody loses, we're shutting our phones off.
Yeah, I think I might be in that same boat. Like, we can chat during the fights for sure. I love some company during the fights, but if Cody loses, I have to go. I'm going ghost. Like, I don't want to talk to you until Monday, at least. And I know it sounds horrible, but I can't. I don't know how to do that. I can't help you.
Do you want a quick Cody story?
Give it to me.
So UFC 217. I'm at a bar. Shout out to Chasers in Chicago. And this guy sitting next to me, and he goes, "Yeah, I train a little bit, but my friend's a fighter." I'm like, "Oh, cool." And like, fun fact, I drink more than I eat. Like, that's
I
how
believe that.
that's how I keep my weight in
I believe
perfect
that.
standing. Like, and when I eat, it's all like meat and potatoes. Like, that's what I prefer. And pasta, meat, potato, pasta. I'm good. So I order food, and I'm like, man, I don't really want all this food. So I'm looking at this guy, and I'm like, hey, dude, you've been cool like all night. You want these fries, bro? Like, I'm good. So he's like, who you going for? He goes, who you going for in this TJ Cody fight? I go, Cody. Like, it's very personal. Like, Cody's my guy. Like, he was cool. I'm with TJ, but cool. TJ knocks him out. And he goes, what? I take the fries and I whip them across the bar. I slam my hands on the bar and I go, listen, motherfucker. I go, your friend's a fighter. If that was your friend getting knocked out, would you want someone to react that way the way you just reacted to me? And because I knew the place, security came over.
I don't like people that react like that no matter what. Like, whether I have a dog in the fight or not. The people that are, like, disgusting and aggressive after. It's like, I don't want to walk at the bar to begin with. I'm just trying to save myself some money, which I end up spending more drinking anyway.
Yes.
But, like, don't be disgusting. Like, I'm trying to watch these fights in peace. And if anyone's going to be rowdy, it's me. That's it.
Yeah. We're not going to talk about the Khabib-McGregor fight, but
yeah.
I almost started 3 all-out brawls that night.
Yeah, I believe it.
Well, at least I'm making myself sound like a good, upstanding citizen and, professional here. It's my podcast. I do what I want. All right, let's go to the main event. So who are you taking?
In what?
In the co-main event.
Which one?
You're frozen again, by the way. So who are you taking in the co-main event?
I'll go Garbrandt. I will go Garbrandt on that.
Are you doing it for me?
Yes.
You are. Okay. So as long as you know Connor, Cody, and Drew Dober.
You like Drew Dober? Like, more than anyone I've ever heard like Drew Dober. Like, he's a really cool guy. Looked really good in his last fight. Him and Justin Gaethje. So I love that. But, like, you're obsessed with him.
Honestly, because he's just like, he doesn't have to. And I thought this of Billy Quarantillo last week. I was like, you don't need to fight. Like,
Billy Q. Yeah, I liked him last week.
Like, they didn't need to. They are men who don't need to fight. Like, I'm gonna take a shot here. Luke Rockhold, I get it. You're a model, okay, but Billy Quarantillo, Drew Dober, they can have that job. And Drew Dober, when he fights, he just like, it's like he's let out of a cage.
It got to a point for anyone that's listening and that's made it up to this point of the shit show of me like losing my mind. I had to ask Mike last week if he liked me better than Drew Dober. Like, that's how insane it was. And like, he said he did, it was, like, not by a lot, but I don't know if I believe it. I really don't.
I'm pretty sure I put you in Connor, Kelly, Cody,
Joe
Dober.
Rogan was in there.
What?
Wasn't Joe Rogan in there?
Oh, yeah, but after that. Oh, no, I think it was Connor, Kelly, Rogan, Dober.
Why do I know your rankings better than you do?
Because I'm just trying to put you over everybody. But you can't accept Connor. Like,
No, Connor's like everything to you.
listen, People know about the viral videos. People know I wouldn't be in this sport if it wasn't for a counter fight. Okay, well, that's good. I like that. My
Got a
last
notification.
what?
Did you get a notification? I heard.
Yeah, that's gonna sound great on the podcast. That's gonna be awesome. Listen, it's 11, and I don't care because I could talk to you all day long, and this has been amazing.
I'm doing nothing.
But holy shit, like this has been so much fun.
Yeah,
Like,
I told you. You said you didn't know if my excitement was like authentic, and like it is. I have fun doing these. I really do.
Have you been on other podcasts though?
No. Somebody had asked me to come on their podcast.
You turned it down. If you turn it down, I'm gonna go fucking nuts.
Well, okay, I did, but let me hear me out. So this was an MMA podcast, and
Do you want
I
to call them out?
believe I was only like 3 or 4 months into the job. And I said, which I would do it now, but I had said, let me get a little bit more well-versed so that we can have a conversation. And it's like, you and I are also, we're like very friendly. Like we're friends.
Video editor.
Whereas if
Copy that.
I don't know, wasn't as well-versed or didn't. Who just texted me? I'm so sorry. Hold on.
What?
Oh, God. Wait, do you want some live news?
Yes.
Okay. I think, I don't know who just texted me, but somebody just texted me, are you ready for Saturday? I don't know what they're talking about. Anyways.
You think it's Drew?
What? Was it? What?
Was it Drew Dober? Like
you wish it was. No.
This is like my public campaign. Drew Dober, please come on this fucking show.
Honestly, if Drew Dober comes on your podcast, I'd like to be on for a little bit just to have some firsthand account of what's happening.
Listen, I'm gonna be very honest. I think you and I are about to branch off and do one. I think.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. You're gonna be a hit because, of course, because no disrespect, MMA fans are pigs, so they're gonna see you and be like, she's so smart. I'm like, she didn't even say anything.
She breathed. But wait, okay. I get so off topic so easily. I had said I wanted to be more well-versed, and I would love to do it in the future. That's why I turned it down. But I was saying, you and I were friends, so we can BS and talk about so much other shit. Like, that's why it's 11 o'clock, and we're still talking, haven't even talked Nunes Spencer, because we can just talk about everything. But yeah, that's why. Otherwise, I haven't done any podcasts.
For the record, this is the podcast I want. Like, okay. I'm going to sound like I'm blowing smoke, but Joe Rogan has his podcast where he's hanging out, bullshitting, smoking weed, drinking, dicking around with his friends.
Yeah, it's dope.
Those are the podcasts I want with the right people. You're one of them. Then he has his podcast with like Bernie Sanders or Robert Downey Jr., where you're like, holy shit, okay. All right, I got to get up for this one. Not that I don't get up for the interviews with you. I can have a more authentic conversation with you than with.
Speaking of Rogan, though, real quick, did you see his podcast with Trevor Whitman and Gaethje?
No, I've actually refused to watch it because I know you.
It was so good. I'm just gonna leave it there. You should watch it.
I saw a clip that they put out saying Justin Gaethje, quote, "I'm going to shut up Connor." Didn't want to watch it.
He also said he's looking for a girl. Let's start and end it there. I just wanted to let you know he said that.
By the way, you told me that 2 weeks ago.
Thank you. Thank you for letting everyone know.
Oh, Justin. By the way, you're telling me like I have any upper hand here. Hello? Think about who you work with.
I just want my friends to know. That's it. That's it.
Oh, we're going on public. Here's the thing. I have a lot of these, not a lot. I have plenty of fighters on the podcast, so I don't want to be like, I have a crush on this one. And then they're like, oh.
Hello. Yeah, you can't. You're the host.
Right. So I can't say anything. Although I will say, oh, I gotta be careful.
No,
Do you want my most?
no.
Do you want my most controversial take of all time?
I don't know. Yeah. Yes.
I don't think Paige Van Zandt is all that.
Really? I think she's very pretty.
I think she's a beautiful girl. I've met her in person. I don't think the MMA world needs to react to her the way that she does. Now, I say that to say this.
Does she
If
have a
she
fight?
goes in, huh?
Does she have a fight booked?
Yeah, Amanda Ribas later in July, I think, or
Okay.
August. So I'll say
Continue. Sorry, forgot.
this. If Paige Van Zandt was a model, cool, go crazy. Great for modeling.
I thought
But
she was.
I mean, she is. But I'm saying if that was her full time,
Gotcha.
24/7.
Gotcha.
What I hate, and I'm gonna get on a soapbox here, is the classifying of female fighters based off looks. Like, it's so frustrating.
I think
So-
doing that to females in any occupation.
Well, yeah. Let me say
So,
that.
like, I get what you're saying for sure.
Yeah. Like, listen, it's not even women in any occupation. You go to a bar, see a more beautiful girl, and then they're like dogs. They're just like drooling and slobber, and they're barking, and you're like, this is a no bark zone. What are you doing? Like, calm down. So that's how I feel about MMA fans with Paige. They're drooling, they're barking, they're like licking, they're chasing their own tail, they're licking themselves. It's like, can you stop? Like,
Yeah.
she's a fighter. With that being said, horrible transition, but we're gonna do it anyway. Let's look at two women in the main event. Amanda Nunes, Felicia Spencer, featherweight title on the line. All due respect to your girl Felicia, I don't think it makes it out of the first round.
Okay. No, I don't think so either. I think Amanda's just gonna find that groove and find it quickly. She's I mean, a fun fact, not even it's actually I don't know if you call it a fun fact. I may have told you this already, but like 2 months into me starting my job for Fight Nation, I had a dream I was a UFC fighter. It was a nightmare. I won't even say it was a dream. It was a full-blown nightmare. But I was doing really well. I was fine. I was winning. I was good. And then I see the thing is, I don't know. It wasn't people of name that
What fight kit?
I don't know.
Oh, this
So
sounds
I was
so
just
creepy.
fighting people.
Hold on.
To be honest,
so
I was fighting my friends.
Okay, but hold on. So
What?
creepy. What fight kit were you wearing?
I don't know. This was like a year ago.
Okay, but were you wearing like the black fight kit, the gray fight kit? Did you have the blue? Like,
I don't know. I feel like I was in black.
did you do the shirt? Like, what did you
No,
do?
I was definitely like the sports bra,
Shorts.
like shorts kind of girl. Not like the shorts, the spandex short.
Yeah. We know. We know.
So I'm in my dream, crushing it. And then obviously I had like the pre-fight jitters. And then it gets to the point where all of a sudden I now know who I'm fighting, and it's fully Amanda Nunes. And I woke up in a full sweat, like with tears in my eyes. Like I was so scared. And I had to like look around to make sure I was in my room and not in an octagon. So that's my Amanda Nunes story. But going off of that, I think it's going to be a clinic. She is a beast.
Let me tell you real quickly. Let me tell you the only time I ever had those dreams, because I recently just had one and it scared the shit out of me. When I'm involved in like somehow I'm in like an altercation or a confrontation with someone, or I'm minding my own business in a neighborhood, all of a sudden someone shows up with a gun. And that is when I question if I am still in a dream or if I am in real life. And that is the only time I wake up with tears in my eyes and sweating.
Yeah.
Or, you know what? I'm just gonna leave it at that. I was gonna make a really bad joke. I don't want to make that.
I'm all set.
It was just trying to figure out my love life here.
Oh God.
Yeah, there's no end game on that. My love life is like Thanos from Avengers.
If any of Luke Thomas's listeners are listening, they know I don't watch that. They know I have definitely not seen that. Is that Captain America's in that? No?
I want to like hang up on you.
No, you don't.
I want to like, I'll give you my Disney Plus login. You do nothing. Take 3 hours out of your day. Just watch this movie.
Isn't Avengers the one where it's like all of these characters team up?
Oh my God.
Like Captain America.
Holy shit. Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay, so what the hell?
All these characters. You got Iron Man. You got the Hulk. Okay, I sound like such a nerd. I'm not even going to start. I'm not. Oh.
I didn't know if like you would call them superheroes or like villains. I guess some of both.
Thanos is the villain.
Okay, so these characters.
Get with it. Get with it. I forgot what I said. Oh, I owe you 1 6-pack of Claw. We'll see.
I believe you upped it to 2 or 3.
Oh, I think I said if I got Doper on, I'd make it 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So you're at 1 right?
The contact, like how to get there.
Shit. We'll talk about that. However, if you are all in on Saturday and like respond to me, okay. Do you have friends who have kids?
No.
That's a very uppity white girl answer, by the way.
Really?
Yes.
Wait, you said, do I have friends that have kids?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
I'm younger than you.
So there's yeah, maybe it's because I'm from Chicago. I was in high school and I saw a girl deliver a baby in high school. Deliver a baby. There's a moment during the birth of a child where the mother is and she's screeching and she's screaming and she's sweating. That's probably going to be me during the co-main event. I'm just going to need you to be that person that's squeezing the hand through the phone and being like, okay.
But you're the type of person that likes to talk through that, because I was pissed when people were texting me during Gaethje's fight. I was like, and Anthony Smith. I was like, obviously, I can't breathe right now, and like I'm freaking out, and I'm crying most likely. I think I was crying during both, and I don't know what to do.
Well, I think I just stopped texting you during both. To be honest,
you were texting me during both, I think.
No, because Anthony, I stopped texting because I was texting Bill McKagan, who's the wide receivers coach for the Los Angeles
Such a
Chargers.
nice guy. He is such a nice guy.
Do you guys have him on or something?
No, I've had a conversation with him.
Oh, excuse me. Literally one of the best.
Obviously.
Literally, he's one of the best. Once I met him and I started talking to him, I was like, I don't care about Kelly. We'll figure this out.
Stop.
But I need you there, son. All right. Okay, so you're taking Amanda. Let's get into this real quick.
Are we doing picks right now?
I thought we were doing picks the whole time.
We have been? Did we document? I think we've gone the same way, actually.
We'll run through them again, but I just want to have this conversation.
All right.
Okay, I don't like the GOAT conversation. You're a basketball fan. The GOAT conversation is so exhausting in basketball. But, like, I fail to see, outside of John Jones, a champion or Khabib. Like, Amanda she just beats everybody. She just beats everybody. And I think we're not just watching the greatest female fighter of all time on Saturday. I think we're watching one of the greatest fighters of all time. And I know people want to say Ronda. Ronda could be a pioneer.
Of course.
I think Amanda is a trailblazer because I think she took it to the next level.
She's unreal. I mean, and a lot of people say there's a lack of competition for her, but it
No,
really could just be that she makes all of her competition look like they're not competition, you know?
she's 3 steps ahead of everyone she fights.
Everybody. And I know we were discussing this today, myself, RJ, and Jimmy, that
Shameless
well,
plug.
really just RJ and Jimmy. I just take in all of their knowledge. That unless Amanda Nunes is fighting somebody of a cyborg caliber, it's an Amanda Nunes fight, and that's no disrespect to her opponent. And Jimmy was saying that the amount of pressure on her must be like crazy, because not only is she expected to win every fight, it's expected to be in insane fashion, start to finish. And if she doesn't look completely dominant and destructive the entire fight, it's almost a loss. You know what I mean? Whether she wins or not, she's expected to look that good, peak level the entire time.
I also think there's a difference because who you described is Ronda Rousey. And Ronda did so many other things that made your grandma want to see that badass fighter. I don't know her name, but she's the blonde, cute girl. Like that's what Ronda did because she was doing TV, movies, media.
Yeah.
She was doing so. Amanda Nunes comes in, fuck shits up, exit stage left.
Yep.
See you
She's
guys in
literally
3
the
months.
definition of do your job. Like, crushes it.
Bill Belichick would have 11 Amanda Nunes's on offense and be very happy. Like Tom Brady, who? Like, do your job.
I know, and literally, like you said, there's a conversation to be had about her being the best fighter of all time, and then you obviously have the people saying that UFC 250 doesn't have the name value on the card because she doesn't have this like immense, overwhelming Conor McGregor, John Jones like star power, Ronda Rousey like this star power, but she literally just comes in, absolutely rocks whoever she's fighting, looks amazing, and leaves. Like, she's so good. And all she like fighting is, that's it.
But that's a bigger conversation though, because now that's what makes a star. Because would LeBron James be a star in the NBA if he averaged 14 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and he was in movies and TV shows? Like, no, that's Ronda Rousey. She has ups and downs. He would have ups and downs. Why can't Amanda, and why isn't Amanda a star based off what she does inside the cage? Why does she need to do movies? Why does she need to be in commercials? Why does she doesn't need to? And that's what pisses me off about the sport.
Don't know.
But
Like,
that's what pisses me off about the sport.
Of
Either
course.
get with it or get left with it. Like, that's literally what it is. If you don't respect Amanda Nunes and you don't respect these 24 fighters on this card this weekend, this isn't your sport.
Well, that's the thing. Like, Amanda literally, like we've been saying, comes in and does her job. She looks amazing in all of her fights. She's not out there doing movies and TV and appearances and whatnot. And she isn't like a star, which is annoying because she's so nice. And I watch her interviews and she seems so cool, but she's not, I guess, I don't know the right words. I don't know. It's annoying.
Here's what I hate. The 45-year-old MMA fan who still lives in his mom's basement sitting on the couch, and he goes, well, she's Brazilian and she's lesbian. Oh, hey, by the way, those are positives in marketing for the United States. Dumb.
Like, more freaking power to her. That's awesome.
Exactly. But unfortunately, UFC doesn't capitalize on it. So, all right, let's officially.
Though, like,
go ahead.
I mean, you have Weili Zhang now. Gilbert Burns looking. It was potentially going to get that next title shot at welterweight. Izzy. So, I don't know.
Connor coming soon. Sorry.
Oh my god. Yeah, but at what freaking weight class? What do you think Connor's gonna do next?
Nate, if he's smart.
At
Yeah.
hold on, sorry. I got a low battery notification.
Oh, yeah.
But Nate 5 or 170?
170. Nate at 170.
Like that stuff is like Connor's not a like what the hell?
He's got 2 wins at welterweight.
But it's just like if he wants to come back and fight Khabib for the title at 155, then like let's get back to 155. No.
Okay, so then let me ask you this: is the winner of Nate Connor at 155 the number 1 contender?
God, I don't know.
Would a win over Donald Cerrone and Nate Diaz mean you're the number 1 contender? Because what about guys like
Hooker,
Poirier, Tony Ferguson trying to get his way back there?
Now has Poirier has he not fought since his loss to Khabib?
Poirier's fighting Hooker next, supposedly.
Yeah, so the winner of that fight. But Dana said he was on Eddie Hearn's podcast that he thinks Connor should just wait it out to fight the winner of
you know why?
Khabib because he's Connor.
And because Dana can't capitalize off of Nate and Connor with no fans.
Oh, I know, because Dana had already said like it would kill him to have Connor fight with no live game.
Exactly. So if there were fans, Nate and Connor would be fighting right now. My opinion.
Yeah.
All right, let's submit our picks here.
I think we were similar.
What?
I feel like we were very similar. Maybe I should change mine so there's some friendly competition.
Well, I don't know how friendly it'll be. So I'm taking Amanda Nunes.
Of course, me too.
Cody Garbrandt.
Me too.
I knew you were smart. Aljo.
Okay. Yeah, I don't want to pick against Aljo.
Yeah, I know you wouldn't. I'm taking Neil Magny.
Me too.
Okay,
And
I'm gonna go with the upset. I'm gonna take Eddie Wineland to beat Sean O'Malley.
I love that.
Just because.
That's great.
Chase Hooper, I'm taking him.
Me too.
Gerald Meeschart, I'm taking him over whoever the hell. If Ian Heinisch fights, though.
If Ian Heinisch fights, I'm gonna go Heinisch. See, so that's up in the air.
Yeah.
Okay, so ready? If Ian Heinisch fights Ian Heinisch, if
Ian Heinisch fights Ian Heinisch.
No, I mean like if Ian Heinisch fights Ian Heinisch is my pick.
Okay.
And then if he's not fighting, then his opponent.
And Gerald Meeschart. Okay.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I'm taking Brian Kelleher to beat Cody Stamann.
I'll go Cody Stamann.
I'm taking Charles Byrd, which is like the only fight I'm not caught up on, against Maki Pitolo. I'm taking Charles Byrd. So.
And I'm gonna take your knowledge on that. And
Okay.
do the same.
Or
your lack of knowledge is more than mine. What's the next one?
Alex Perez against Jessier Formiga.
Formiga.
I like Perez.
Nice. See, I like when we're separate.
That's nice. You sound like every ex I've ever had.
Love that.
This one's tough. Because I'm cool with both of these guys. Alonzo Menifield, Devin Clark.
I'll go Devin Clark.
So will I, because he was on the podcast this week. And then I'm taking Herbert Burns to beat Evan Dunham, because I don't think your brother can have such a great performance and then you follow it up and it's not great.
Okay, I'm doing the same because I'm lacking knowledge. But you said I should watch his last fight?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have Fight Pass? I'm actually interested to know this.
I use Mike Russo's. Mike Russo, another producer on Fight Nation, gave me his Fight Pass info when I first started working because I was committed to furthering my knowledge. Yeah. And I've actually used it. I mean, are these things like not on ESPN Plus? Like all the fights they have?
I don't know. I'm actually just gonna send you the highlight off of YouTube because it's that
Okay.
crazy. All right, so let's address one other thing before we wrap this up.
Mhm.
You thought I was wearing a Fight Island shirt. And
Laura Senko's been rocking them.
Laura Senko, I hold in the highest respect and highest regard. She can have all the Fight Island gear she wants. First off, I will own Fight Island gear.
I think I will too.
I'm kind of waiting for one, it to happen, and two, I really want us to be able to go back to the studio because I want to work a Luke Thomas show and wear a Fight Island shirt.
Oh my God.
That's 3 hours of just berating me.
I want one.
Could you imagine if you and I worked
that?
his show?
In
Could
Fight
you
Island
imagine-
shirts?
In Fight Island shirts.
I'm telling you, Laura Senko was wearing one and it had like the Miami Vice colors going, like the highlighter, like pink
Of course.
and blue.
You would love that.
And I was like loving it. I mean, she looked great because when doesn't she? But I was like, I think I need that shirt. I really think so.
So
Her and Megan O'Leary, they've just been crushing it throughout these broadcasts.
yes. And you're the future one of them. With that said, we have to find a card before we return to work in our studios. We're totally opposite on. And I will publicly make you the deal now that on the one main event or the one whatever that we're against each other, if you win, I will buy you your Fight Island t-shirt.
Okay, and then I'll buy yours if you win.
Perfect. All right, Kelly, this has been amazing. Through all the technical difficulties, through your shitty Wi-Fi, through your shitty non-Wi-Fi connection, through the fact that I got not yelled at, but through the fact that I was reprimanded over my volume, we made it.
We, against all odds, we've completed this edition of the podcast. And potentially are branching off.
I would be down for that.
Saying.
The thing is, when you work with a Kelly Murphy, a White Claw queen, you gotta go off her schedule. You gotta call people. Like, I had to call 2 of your assistants to get you on the show. Like, it was.
We had to call the local grocery store to see if they had any more White Claws because I ran out. I mean, a lot goes on.
I think if we did a podcast, like White Claw would have to be the sponsor.
Absolutely. We'd have to drink one in every episode.
Oh, God, Jesus, that's so hard.
Yeah, right? I thought you were kidding. I was like, okay.
Oh, my God. Like, I had a tall boy White Claw, and I only bought it because I didn't know they existed.
In our Fight Island shirts.
Fight Island and White Claw.
I mean, come on.
I think that's what we're just about to base our friendship off of. Fight Island, White Claw.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Kelly, plug your social media before you get out of here.
My Twitter is KMurphy, MURPHY 25. And I mean, that's really it. I don't need anyone following my Instagram. If you find it.
And I'll just say, correct. And let me say what I said to you during our break off. If any of you, I'm going to be explicit here. If any of you fucking creeps say anything on this podcast in the comments, on my Twitter, on her Twitter, on Facebook, on my Facebook, on Instagram, on anything, I will berate your inbox until you deactivate your social media. Leave her alone. That's it. That's all I got. That's all I have to say.
You're a doll, Mike Pendleton.
I'm gonna keep that voice.
You
recording.
got it in writing, and now you got it.
I don't think I have that in recording.
See, now you do.
I have a video and audio. That doesn't really help me if I'm trying to sell myself to someone. But here's another female saying I'm a doll.
Just call me. Just call me next time you're trying to pick up a girl.
I don't do that. I'm a nice, responsible gentleman.
Yeah.
I don't even have dating apps. I just I'm focused on the task at hand of my life, and I want to be successful. All right, at K Murphy 25. I am at MP2310. At Mike P2310 on Instagram, and I'm gonna be blowing your phone up on Saturday. And by the time this
Jury's
drops,
still out if I'll answer based on how that co-main goes.
that's terrible. Okay, because this is dropping on Friday, I have to ask you: does anybody miss weight?
Does anybody miss what?
Does anybody miss weight Friday morning?
Oh God. No.
I'm gonna go no. There's a lot of bantamweights on this card. I'm gonna go no.
I'm like loving the bantamweights. I think they're gonna do well. No one's missing weight, and all is gonna go as. You know what? Actually, another prediction: the Ian Heinisch corner test false positive. He's gonna be able to fight.
I'm in. All right, one more.
How do we end it? Do we clap to end it too?
No.
Oh.
One more prediction.
Okay.
Do I go to bed happy on Saturday night?
Yes, because we both picked the same way.
Perfect. All right, Kelly, this was a blast. Let's talk about a branch out here one day, and enjoy the fights. Enjoy your Friday off. I was gonna say Friday night off, but enjoy your Friday off. And
Yes.
We'll talk again soon.
Yes, thank you for having me. It's so formal.
Get your internet fixed by the time.
I'm going to get a huge internet boost just for this. I got a low battery notification again.
Perfect. All right, Kelly, we'll talk soon.
Bye.